Okay, let's do some more Frieren, shall we? I think we should. I think we should do some more Frieren. Now, slight complicating factor. I've already seen this episode. Slightly unfortunately, I'm reacting to an episode I've already seen. The reason I've already seen it is because I started recording a reaction to the episode, and then I was recording the reaction to the episode the whole way through, and then I was, and if you want to see more of this, subscribe to the channel, and then I looked at my actual recording software, and guess what it wasn't doing? Guess what my recording software, which is meant to be recording when I'm recording things, guess what the recording software wasn't doing? That's right. It was not recording. So now, here we go again. So, not a first-time reaction, this one, but maybe I'll have slightly more cogent thoughts to offer on it as we go through it. Maybe we'll get through it faster without me, yapping for God knows how many hours about something that really shouldn't take that long to yap about. I don't know. Either way, we're just going to have to get on with it. Now, if you haven't been along to one of my specific reactions before, the way that this works is that you grab the anime yourself, you put it up on your own screen, and then we sync up by the simple convenience of me saying 3, 2, 1, go. Then you press play. Because as you can see, I can't put the anime up on screen the whole time because of that's very copyright infringe a lot, and I don't want to have to deal with that. So you're going to have to stay in sync with me, listen to the anime yourself, watch it. I've got the ghost of the thing playing up here, along with subtitles, and there's a timer that you can use to stay in tune with me. And in sync with me, rather. So that's the way that this works, and then every once in a while, something will happen where I'll be like, ooh, I need to talk about that. 3, 2, 1, pause. And then we pause at the same time, and then I yap about whatever I need to yap about, and then I go, okay, I'm done yapping. 3, 2, 1, go. And so on, and that's how we get through the episode all together. That's the way that this works, and if that's annoying and inconvenient for you and you don't want to deal with it, I don't blame you. It's fine. It's completely okay. I know. It's just more convenient for me, which is the reason why I am doing it. So, let's go back to the beginning, and let's start the episode over all together now. 3, 2, 1, go. It really is a gorgeous map, that one. And the fucking watercolor background still. I will be quiet. I will not stop to ramble about them, but damn. And then we get the new intro, which, what a weird place to put the new intro for the first time. It's like, huh, okay, in this episode, really? It's not really like a natural breakpoint in the narrative, right? It's just sort of, oh, okay. I am curious about what it foreshadows, though. I'm curious about what it's doing, because, like, we have the butterfly imagery in there, which is Fern, right? Even in Fern's color. And Sein is still there. Like, I happen to know, because of my amazing powers of foresight, that he leaves the party in this episode. Just like a prophetic vision came to me in a dream and told me so. But the other thing is, the relationship between Frieren and Fern seems to be made quite central to a lot of what's going on in this particular OP. Also, lots of wizards. Just so many wizards, truly. It's Wizard City up in here, which I am curious about. Are these antagonists, or what's going on there? But there's some cool, impressive magic going on. And a guy with, like, a blood scar, and a lady with the parasol, and then this elf, who seems to be every bit as old as Frieren, and there's, like, this cross-cut, even, that seems to imply that she's some sort of antagonist to Frieren, or maybe, like, an old friend? but a lot of this opening seems to be about Fern and Frieren's relationship, not the least of which being their staffs both together in bed, holding hands with their ribbons. This too is Yuri. So I'm curious about like what apparently these upcoming story arcs are going to be about, like with Frieren and Fern's relationship to each other. Because the OP there seems certainly to be focused around it. There is one thing here. 3, 2, 1, pause. Not necessarily something I need to gush about for 45 minutes, but it's the little things, right? It's when you have a shot, right, of a character, they're cold, they're freezing, they have very cold hands. If you want to animate that, you kind of go, okay, so animate the hands trembling, right? Like, because we don't really need to animate more than that in order to get the point across. We just need to show the hands trembling and being cold, and that'll kind of do the trick. But because it's Studio Madhouse, we don't just animate the hands trembling. We do full body entire animation of the whole character trembling, down to even the goddamn bracelet is trembling on the character because Madhouse, right? And you can see like where they cut it off, right? Like that's Frieren's hand. You can see, especially down here, right? You can see that line wobbling right there. That like on Frieren, they do the limited animation of animating no more of her hands doing anything that they need to, because of course her hands are more still than Fern's. But I do like that they did a whole body trembling cycle for Fern's whole model or her whole like artwork in this shot, just because it's Studio Madhouse and because they can just do that sometimes when they want to. It's yeah. I think I'll come back to this later, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. 3, 2, 1, go. Kids. And of course, I remember laughing about that the first time I watched, like when I watched the episode. It's like, yeah, no, of course that happens. What else could possibly happen? And it's like it's not like Madhouse isn't conscious of budget constraints and not over animating things for no reason. It's just sometimes they just take the opportunity to do more than they need to. Love the old man there, by the way. Like that shot of him, that's fantastic. I mean, if given the choice between firing lasers out of my fingers and being able to just remove oil stains and mold with a magic spell, I would choose oil stains and mold. I don't really want to fight in a magic war, but I do want to be able to just clean my house easier. And then montage time. do love that old man and his character design. It's really nice. Classic. Very Dragon Quest. And of course, Frieren being a clumsy idiot off screen. It's one of the more charming things about her. I do love this use of the montage, though. Like, 3, 2, 1, pause. I do love... I should make sure I actually add a marker so we can get back to here. I do love this use of the montage, right? Like, that we do the montage bit, and we show everyone doing their own thing separately, as you would expect in a montage. And then we come back to the tavern, and it's like, wait, hang on. This was supposed to be my chance to, like, say goodbye to them and, like sort of, like, enjoy my time and build some bonds with them so that I can say goodbye to them when I have to go off on my own journey. Wait, oh, didn't we just kind of all do our own thing and never really spend any time together? Whoops. What a nice use of the montage. Like, that's narratively speaking, that's a nice little way to use it so that it's not just about showing time passing, but that it also, like, oh, right, he's letting time pass him by because he's sort of losing himself in just drinking and partying and sort of staying in place and being comfortable. This is something we'll come back to with Sein later. 3, 2, 1, go. I do love it when they get to be childish. Poor little wet potato. Yeah, gee, I wonder why, dude. It's good advice, by the way. Like, you do have to say it. It's not enough just to sit there and be like, yeah, it's my fault, I feel bad. No, you have to verbalize. Yeah, it's like, it's context, right? It's the difference between, like, she touched him from the front with her hand to his face, and then he was like up behind her, a hand on her shoulder and one arm around on the cheek. It's like, dude. A simple little conflict, but cute. 3, 2, 1, pause. I did laugh at this pretty hard the first time. Yeah, douche. Like, just I do like that. Like, you know, like a lot of anime, right? When they have a romance subplot, they'll it'll be like, oh, it's a will they won't they, will they won't they, will they won't they. Was like, oh, there's these little scenes where it's like, oh, maybe I have feelings for her, maybe I don't, maybe we have feelings for each other, maybe we don't know, like where we sort of walk right up to the edge of the characters like becoming more emotionally close with each other, and then we back off and we go back up and we go back off. And it's really fucking annoying. Like, I do love me Ranma one half, but Ranma and Akane's relationship, the way that the rug gets pulled out from under that constantly every single time there seems to be some kind of progress is frustrating after a while. And I do like that Sen is here like, Jesus fucking Christ, these kids are so stupid in love with each other. Just start dating. God damn it. Kiss each other, you idiots. I like that he's on my side with this one, right? It's like, Jesus Christ, just fucking get up. But I'm sorry, it's a slow burn, Sen. Like, they need time. They need time to like figure out their feelings and deal with them. It's like, we can sit here and we can see all of the necessary steps that must be taken, and it would be much faster if they would just pay attention and listen and just do the thing the way that we know it needs to be done so we can get on with it. But they're young. You know, they have the privilege of time, and they should be allowed to spend it. And also, the trouble is, like, you look back with the hindsight of having gone through the process, and you kind of go, oh, I could have just skipped to the end of that easily, no problem. Except, no, you couldn't, because you can't do that until you've been through the process and you can see the steps. It's like, you can't live your life backwards like that, unfortunately. You have to live it forwards. It's the only direction which is available. So you can't skip to the end of the process, much though, yes, it is incredible. I can imagine it would be incredibly annoying to see these two kids obviously head over heels for each other in so many ways, with feelings that they're clearly desperate to explore, but constantly backing off of it because they're teenagers and they don't know what to do with themselves yet. I do like that. I like that the anime is very explicit, like, no, yeah, like, we're not doing that. We're not doing a will they, won't they. We're doing, they're gonna. Like, we're planting a flag and saying, yeah, they're gonna. Obviously they're gonna. Of course they're gonna, eventually, at some point. Not yet, but this is not gonna be an eternal will they, won't they limbo. God, I hope not, anyway. This is, no, this is happening. It's just, you have to be patient and let it happen at the pace it's gonna happen. And I do like that. Like, I do like that Sein gets to have that moment of, like, reading these two idiots dead to rights before he leaves, which he's gonna. Which is interesting. It's interesting that he just leaves. Like, that he's introduced as a character poorly, still, in my opinion, poorly introduced as a character. He gets some time to get built up. He gets some time to develop a dynamic with the party, and then he has to go. There's some thematic reasons for that we'll get into once he's left. But an interesting thing to do. Let's get on with that then. 3, 2, 1, go. I forgot to adjust the color of the background. That little match fade is very good. And here's where we sort of get to the crux of it, right? it doesn't have to last forever to be worthwhile, right? I'm talking about the present. We get a little bit of a clip show as a sort of like, oh, right, like we're looking back on all the important moments with these characters. It's still a little awkward because Sen has just not really been with the party long enough to feel that important yet. Like, again, his presence feels a little compressed to me. He only got one fight scene, right? But not just that, like, he really didn't get to spend that much time with the party, and I kind of wish they'd had more time together. But there's the point, right? I was so worried at this point in the episode when I watched the first time they were gonna do the thing where the ground just gives way under him and he falls into a cliff and gets badly injured and has to and everyone stays behind anyway, sort of freezing things in time. But 3, 2, 1, pause. But here's where we get to what seems to be the thematic point, right? Sein is someone who we saw in the flashback, like this guy who lives in shadows, right? Like who's kind of mopey and a bit melancholic, and who has a tendency to sort of now I'm running into an English word. Affinde sig med, hvad han har. To make do with what he's got, I think, is the best English translation. Yeah, he has a tendency to be like, okay, this is good enough for now, right? Like this, like, okay, I'm living in this village. It's kind of suffocating, and I don't really want to be here. But my brother gave up his career for me, and I kind of have to be here. That's fine. Like, I'll deal with it. And then it's 10 years later, and it's too late, and I can't. Like, that kind of temperament, right? Like this thing of like I can't go chasing my dreams because of that's not right, and I'm not the kind of person who gets to do that. And then when the barriers to him chasing his dreams start falling away, it's like, well, it's too late now. There's no point doing it. Like, it's like, what's the point? Like, he's that kind of person. And we saw Gorilla being the guy who like pulls him out of the shadows, who pulls him into the light, who like forces him to sort of engage with life more actively. And that's the thing that Gorilla gave to him, like this sense of being pulled into the light of the world rather than constantly sitting in the shadows, just kind of waiting for a fish to grab onto the hook, right? Like, but instead running out there and fucking catching that fish with your bare fucking hands, right? And so that's, to me at least, is the point of this scene, right? Is this, he has found himself a new comfortable, this is good enough, right? Traveling with Frieren and the kids, people he likes, and it's like a better situation than back in the village, right? And, you know, this is an improvement, and he could just go on traveling with them, right? Like, surely this is comfortable, this is pleasant, this is better than it was. Maybe that's good enough. Like, make do rather than going off chasing a ridiculous dream. But this time he doesn't do that. This time he doesn't say, oh, the comfortable and familiar is good enough for me, even if it's not perfect. He goes, no, I'm not going to live with regrets. I'm going to go chase this, and I'm going to sacrifice something to do it, right? He sacrifices the companionship that he has with the party in order to go and chase that dream, right? So that's character development, and that's very well handled, I think, from a storytelling perspective. That we get to see that he has been changed by the journey, and he's a different person now in like a, not a huge way, but in a way that matters. Like, you know, in a way that matters to who he is as a person, right? I like that. Again, I do. Again, I don't know how much the manga, if that gave them more time together, or if the manga also treated this very briefly. I do have a slight feeling of like, okay, I would have liked them to have a little bit more time together for this to really sort of hit as like a bittersweet farewell kind of thing. But, you know, it's just you work with what you've got. I do also really like this flashback, right? As he's walking away, just this quick cut to Stark saying something cheerful and animated, Frieren holding up a finger to correct him. You can see his expression is immediately sort of turning, oh, god damn it, like dejected. But it's just a little lively scene, barely on screen for more than, like, what? Yeah, like, just barely 2 seconds it's on screen. Just under. And that's, like, the thing, like, that's synecdoche, right? Like, that's the thing that tells us, like, oh, okay, like, he has given up something that he genuinely valued in order to pursue this dream, right? Which is where we get, like, the it's so quiet traveling alone, right? Like, things are different now. He has chosen to make his life different rather than stay with the thing that was comfortable. And that's fairly well handled as character development goes. Sein did manage to grow on me eventually. Even in spite of my many complaints about his initial introduction. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Again, gorgeous walk cycle, so much good secondary motion. For a second, when I saw this shot for the first time, I thought Frieren was laying there naked. Oh, right. There's this one. 3, 2, 1, pause. I did go off on this one a little bit because it's another one of those Madhouse things, right? Which is all you've got here is a shot of character stirs pot, right? With some stuff in it. They stir the pot, ingredients slosh around a bit. Reasonably simple. But because it's Madhouse, right? Not only are they complicating it by having the thing be boiling, but okay, that's a detail you can manage. Then there's all the ingredients floating around in there, which are not just shapeless blobs, they have like a geometry to them. So they are also being jostled and stirred and moving in the direction of like what the spoon is doing. Okay, that's now we're making it a little bit more complicated than maybe it needs to be. And then pièce de résistance. Yes, Hermes, I can hear you. My cat wants in. Give me a sec. I don't know if you heard that, but it was this little troublemaker wants to say hi. There. Sorry. I had to adjust the microphone a little bit to try and catch the purring. I hope you could hear that, because he is a... Yes, I know, baby, I know. He's a delight. He wants to be in here and purr at me. And yes, do you want down or do you want up? You want to bite... Ow! Okay. Like, then I'm gonna pick you up, you little shit. He wants to bite my knees, is what he wants to do. Which is what he does when he wants attention, the little bastard. I'm trying to record a very important video that might change someone's life forever, you know? I'm doing very important work. Daddy is very important. How can what you want possibly be more important than this just because you want to cuddle with me? Oh, yes, hello. Sorry. Yes, I know. He's not like he will not shut up until I pick him up and cuddle him. So let me see if I can Okay, hang on. Let me. Eh. Okay. So, yes, I know. Oh my god, this cat. Hello. Hi. Yes. Yeah. Yes, that's the mic. Don't eat the microphone, please. Don't do that. Yeah, I know. I'll give you attention. For fuck's sake. Okay. What I was trying to. Oh, now he wants down. Okay. What I was trying to. Not. No. Fucking. Now he's biting my knees again. Okay. Are you done? I think he's done for now. Anyway, I've opened my window to the little catio that they've got outside so he can go out there and mess around. What the hell was I saying? Right. I'm not going to edit this out, by the way. You're stuck with it. Because it's Studio Madhouse, like, we do all the sloshing of the thing, and then on top of that, we add a little bit of motion on the whole cauldron itself, right? We do a little bit of motion on the whole cauldron itself, matching the direction that Stark is stirring it in. And of course, we animate the stew inside the cauldron, also reacting a little bit to the cauldron being stirred around. It's just Studio Madhouse doing constantly doing more than what is necessary. And that's the thing that really that consistently, constantly charms me about Frieren, is that every time Madhouse has a chance to do a little bit more than what's needed, to animate a little bit more than they have to just like put a little bit more craft into it, they do it. And it's not always Sakuga. It's not always me sitting there for like 25 minutes warbling about how cool it is that the seam on the right side of the dress undulated ever so slightly when the character did the thing. It's not always that. Sometimes it's just, I see these shots and I'm like, oh, okay, if I was watching this in a seasonal isekai, I can see in my head the much simpler version of this shot, how you would animate that in a way to save effort, to save time, to save money, to save on production budget. I can see exactly the way that you do it, and Madhouse constantly delight the animation fan in me a little bit by just a little bit more than that. Just like adding 10% on top of that, 15, 20% on top of that, doing just a bit more than anyone else normally would do, seemingly for just no other reason except the love of the game, because they seem to take, and like, I don't know that, like, hope to God the animators at Madhouse weren't crunched to death for this. I hope to God that working conditions there are like reasonably tolerable, because they often aren't in the Japanese animation industry. But Artemis, oh my god, okay. I have another cat outside who's scratching at the door to get in. Here's Artemis. Hey, baby girl. Now, are you cuddly or are you playful? Can you decide? Okay, I think she's not sure if she's cuddly or playful, but no, she's landed on playful. She's attacking her brother. Okay. Well, that means she's out of my hair. Like, the way that Madhouse does more than they need to me just reads like a love of craft. Like, it reads so much like someone who enjoys animating, taking a chance to animate, right? Taking a chance to make the character move in a way that they find more satisfying creatively. God, I hope that's what it is. God, I hope that's why. God, I hope they're not being crunched to death to make this cool anime that I enjoy. But either way, the part of me that's just an animation fan who just enjoys seeing animators express themselves, I'm just eating really well with Frieren so much of the time. Anyway, let's get back to it. 3, 2, 1, go. Like, even the way that Stark readjusted his weight after touching Frieren's shoulder there. Little things. Also, just 12 more hours? That's been me for the past month. Just 12 more hours, please. I just need to sleep for like 48 hours and I'll be fixed. And the way Frieren is like handling the book and reading through it, there's such a love of movement. I also really, I said it already, but I really do like, I do like the world building that, like, there's certain kinds of magic that are the purview of science, right? Like that Frieren has like a lot of magic research. She knows a lot of spells and stuff. She's figured it out. They've systematized it. But then there's also magic which is beyond their understanding for various reasons. Demon magic that they haven't researched yet, and then divine magic which just kind of works and no one really knows why. I like that. Like, it's very D&D in some ways. Also, love the character design of this lady. Love the way she's dressed. Like, the fact that you can see she wears, like, these huge, massive layers upon layers. And like, it affects her profile, right? Like, it makes her boxy. Three, two, one, pause. Another thing. Like, and I don't know if people are ever get tired of me pointing these things out or obsessing over them, but, you know, like, I've come this far. At this point, you're either with me or you're against me, and I'm a Sith. That was a confusing thing to say. At this point, you're either into this or you're not. Like, you're either my kind of freak or not, and it's probably better for all of us if you're not. But here again, like, all Stark needs to do here is ever so slightly turn as the lady leaves the room, right? That's all. He just, and you can just turn his head a little bit, right? You don't need to do very much. You certainly don't need to animate the whole of his entire goddamn body frame by frame. And you can tell it's frame by frame because you look at stuff like the buckles on his shoulder. Look how they wobble. Look how they're line inconsistent. Look how they change and boil. Because the animator redrew it frame by frame. This tiny, itty bitty, minuscule little subtle motion of him just shifting his body ever so slightly. And the animator redrew the whole character like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 times. Redrew the whole character 5 times just to do this tiny little itty bitty turn gesture, right? Same thing with the lady, by the way. She only needed to turn to walk toward the door. You could do that in 2 or 3 frames. It doesn't need to be that much, but because it's Frieren, and because Frieren always likes to take its time, Frieren likes dwelling in these slow, deliberative, pondering motions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 entire goddamn full body, full animation frames for her to turn around. Just, it's the Madhouse thing. And it's just delightful all the time, forever, constantly. I really like it. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. So again, given that the new OP gestures so much towards the relationship between Frieren and Fern, I'm wondering if that's what we're setting up here. One thing Frieren reminds me of sometimes in the way that it handles its pacing is that turtle is so fucking good and cute and cool. I like that turtle. Is Mushishi, which is another anime that has this very sort of slow. Oh, oh, they've spotted a bird out there. The cats, I mean. Mushishi also has that very deliberate, slow approach to motion and like very sedate approach to time that Frieren sometimes uses. With Mushishi, it's much more constant. Frieren sometimes speeds the fuck up. But this fucking tree also, by the way. 3, 2, 1, pause. This fucking tree also, just look at how many fucking colors the artist gets to play with here, right? Because it's an ice tree in a frost environment, right? The simple way to render that is, oh yeah, blue and white and white and blue and gray and white and blue and gray and white, right? That's the easy, simple way to do it. But then we add in the sort of golden hour, late afternoon, sort of like right before sunset sunlight that's down below the horizon, which then comes thundering in with all this whole huge palette of, you know, reds and blues and pinks and like gold and yellow and like all of this. And we get to layer all of that on top of like that shiny ice white refractiveness, right? So we get this tree trunk, which rather than being sort of a dull, pale white or gray like you might expect from a tree in this kind of environment, gets to be like this golden brown, like gorgeous, heavy trunk, like thrumming with life, basically, like the way that the coloration is pulled together. And then we get the blues and grays and whites, but they're in here. In here, it's all like blue, gray, white, blue, gray, white. A little bit of white in the highlights on the petals. But then over top of that, we have this massive pink haze, right, that pokes in among the leaf petals of the plant in here. Bright orange light that sort of refracts and reflects off of things here in the background. And then, of course, those icicles dripping off the leaves of the trees, which retain their bright blue azure color. And it's just a color orgy, right? A scene which could so easily, like, if you color graded this in the MCU style, this would be nothing. This would be either some like ugly as oversaturated like CGI indistinctiveness, or else it would all be fucking gray and blue and gray all the fucking time. Because it's like they color graded for green screen. But because we're doing animation, we can just say, hey, you motherfucker with the watercolor skills, go ham. And they do go ham. They go all of the ham. They exhaust the entire ham supply of Northern England. And there we go. We get this shit with bright azure cutting right into these soft pastel pinks and reds, slashing and overlapping, creating such a depth of field and such a color richness. It's just pretty, man. It's just gorgeous art. It's just really pretty artwork, and I really like it. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, go. Because you didn't, Stark, and you should have. There's truth to that. I would say colds in anime tend to be much more serious diseases than I've ever experienced them as. Like, when I have a cold, it's uncomfortable. Sinuses fill up, I have a headache, I'm kind of miserable. But I'm okay. I'm not laying in my bed panting and, like, boiling with fever and, like, people at my bedside worried about me. Like, I don't know. Maybe colds are just different in Japan. It seems like when they say cold, they mean more like a flu. Which, I mean, there's some overlap between those illnesses, right? They have a those viruses have like an overlap, right? I don't know. I will also say, even as a grown-ass fucking adult man, if I'm sick and I'm miserable and everything kind of sucks and I'm unhappy, yeah, it is just nice to be babied a little bit. Just for a minute. Like, just, like, maybe not the whole day. Mostly I just want to sleep, but... but it is nice to have someone, you know, holding your hand and touching your forehead and taking care of you. It's helpful. It makes it easier. The quiet intimacy of just holding someone's hand, by the way. Like, the camera likes to focus on it, and it is potent imagery. By the way, Stark, you should have held her hand. Like that was teed up for you. That when she's sick, she likes to someone hold her hand to comfort her. Like, it was right there. Like, Stark, it was there in front of you. The opportunity was there. It was right there, and you didn't take it. And I'm a little upset with you, young man, quite frankly. So, new ending. I didn't see that one, actually. Who's the lady with the ribbon? Very engraving, very sort of Gustave Doré. Oh, there's some interesting stuff happening with the imagery here. There's the butterfly again, Fern. Breaking free? Taking flight? Is this about Fern growing up? Like, because that seems to be what this episode is kind of teasing. Yeah, there's a splitting of ways, a diverging. Is that actually stop motion? No, fuck you. Did they actually stop motion animate that? Fuck you. Oh, if they actually stop motion animated this. And there's the return of the butterfly. And then they come back together and reconnect. So is there going to be a splitting of ways between Fern and Frieren and then they come back together? Hang on, let me... Okay, if I wasn't convinced before, like, last time when I recorded, I discovered that I wasn't recording right around the time I hit the ending. Because that's when I was looking at, oh, how long did this one take? So I didn't actually watch the ending, but now seeing this, like, Frieren at Himmel's grave. That's more or less what's happening here. Fully on some fucking engraving shit. Like, maybe not quite Gustave Doré, but certainly, like, the style of like sort of old European children's books in the vibe of it. And then Frieren herself here is 2D animated. That's not stop motion. And then we pass over here, and I guess this is Fern. As a child, I've kind of forgotten what she looked like, but it's certainly someone. Then this red ribbon flying off into the air, taking flight along a murder of crows through this... Yeah, it must be Fern, because we have this mountain with the hole in the side. Right, and then we have this color sharing between the ribbon and Frieren's earring, which then becomes this... spirit falling into an underworld, or a teardrop, or a meteor, maybe? Because it crashes into this butterfly eye, right? Which forms Fern's sigil. And then that sigil breaks apart, right? Like, she breaks free, essentially. And all of the pieces and parts transform into dragons and snakes and serpents and all kinds of other jewelry. Did they fucking actually stop motion animate this? I'm gonna fucking go to their offices and throw rocks at their cars. And then the butterfly flies away. And then there's a parting of the ways, right? Like, where we get what looks like fucking... Is this did they actually layer this on glass? Am I seeing a fucking cameraman vaguely reflected? Did they actually layer this on glass? Like, did they actually print these scratchings on glass to create this layering and then stop motion animate in between, like, the layers on, like, a photography rig? Because it kind of looks like they did. Because you see here, between these two frames, you see how the background moves a little bit, almost like it got jostled while someone was doing stop motion animation? Fuck you. Fuck you. Oh my god. Madhouse, who the fuck did you get to do this? I wish I could read Japanese credits so I could check the... what the hell, but parting of the ways, right? Like, Frieren off to one direction, Fern off in another direction, and then Frieren goes through something, clearly. Like, this is now we're a little bit more in Hieronymus Bosch's territory. There's a city there. Encircled. And a whole bunch of chaos that's happening. Looks like a scene of blood or war, maybe? Something violent, but it's also the ribbon, right? Which all twirls together in towards this center with this little butterfly blossom, this little blossoming flower that Frieren is going for. And as she catches it, the butterfly lands and becomes Fern, and then there's a reunion. They come back together with the flower as a symbol and signifier of that reunion. And then we end here, which is interesting because it opens with Frieren laying down at Himmel's grave. And then by the end, it's like Fern has taken the place of Himmel's grave, right? Like that, the journey that Frieren went on for him. At the end of this, perhaps she's realizing that now she is on the journey for her instead. Like she's found something else to live for besides just recapturing the memory of him. I don't know, man, but okay, so both the intro and outro are saying very, very heavily that whatever the fuck's gonna be going on now is gonna be about Frieren and Fern's relationship to each other. Which, first of all, cool. That sounds emotionally potent. Also, really not seeing none of Stark in any of the imagery here. Like, what about him? Where's he in all this? Is he relevant at all? It's okay if he's not. I'd like my boy Stark to you know, also get to be part of the story a little more than you know, than just being a supporting cast to the ladies. Uh, like, I'd like him to be thematically relevant, especially if he is Fern's main love interest, right? Uh, then he also needs to find a place in her life alongside Frieren, which would be interesting. Anyway, gorgeous style on this fucking... Really hope I don't get copyright claimed for just going through the whole goddamn outro, but... Like, someone really put some noodling time in rendering out these illustrations for the ending. Like... That's just someone sitting down and really spending some time with a pen, just fucking scratch, 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 noodle, 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 doodle, 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 noodle, noodle, doodle, doodle, noodle, noodle, doodle, doodle, just filling in the space with detail. That's what reminds me of engraving about it. It's like it's a style that's well suited to that. Because this definitely isn't stop motion, right? This is traditional animation. But then they fucking transition to here with the thing, and then this seems to me like a multi-layered glass photography setup where like this bit is layered in front of the camera, and then this bit, like you can see this bit is also layered over wherever they're doing the actual acting, the puppeteering with Frieren, with the Frieren puppet, so that it can be occluded and like disappear into the background, and then they're animated like stop motion. Did they fucking... Is this photographed like bit by bit? Like, is this actually photographed in like a glass panel layering with like multiple layers of engraved detail on them? Because I'll go fucking insane if that's how they did it. Like with actual analog photography, it's an insane way to do it, but it would explain the fact that as Frieren is walking here, we can see light reflections cast from like the lighting that's on her little tin puppet or whatever she's made of, like reflecting and double reflecting and refracting into glass panels. Fuck me, man. You didn't... Oh my god. Fucking Studio Madhouse. Jesus Christ, man. Like, it's one thing that Beastars chooses stop motion as a medium for their intro-outro thing, but good lord. Anyway, that's cool. Damn, okay. I guess we'll see where this goes eventually. But if you want to see how it goes with me, you're gonna have to the subscribe button and like and things, comment maybe down below. Member of the channel, early access to videos if you want to, $1 a month, don't have to though. I have a Patreon, merchandise store, tip jar, blah blah blah, self-promotion, etc. I'm gonna end the video now because it is 6:45 in the morning and I have not had dinner yet. That's the way my life is going right now. Bye!